Subscribe to LearnCab and hit the bell icon to get notified.
Friends, GSTR 2A and GSTR 2B. Friends, the basics of 2A and 2B we have already discussed along with 36 sub rule 4. Now friends, before going into details of 2A and 2B, let us first revise whatever we have discussed so far. Now friends, what is GSTR 2A? GSTR 2A is a result of GSTR 1 being filed. GSTR 2A is the result of GSTR 1 being filed, which means that GSTR 1 is the input and GSTR 2A is the output. Whatever the details of outward supplies which are furnished by my suppliers would appear in GSTR 2A. Now friends, let's suppose there is an invoice dated August. The date of invoice is in August. Now this particular invoice is included in the GSTR 1 of August. This particular invoice is included in the GSTR 1 of August. What is the due date of filing GSTR 1 for August month? If it is a monthly filer, the due date happens to be 11th of September. Now friends, this particular invoice which is dated of August is included in the GSTR 1 of August. Whether this GSTR 1 is filed before due date or it is filed after due date, it doesn't matter. As it is included in the GSTR 1 of August, it will appear in GSTR 2A of August. As a recipient for me, it would appear in GSTR 2A of August. Please keep this in mind. We are discussing the relationship between GSTR 1 and GSTR 2A. If a particular invoice is included in the tax period, in a particular tax period for GSTR 1, it would appear in the very same tax period in GSTR 2A irrespective of the date of filing. In our example, invoice dated August is included in GSTR 1 of August. If GSTR 1 of August is filed on 10th of September, it would appear in GSTR 2A of August. If that particular GSTR 1 of August is filed on 30th of September after the due date, still it would appear in GSTR 2A of August because it is filed in GSTR 1 of August. Another scenario, if the very same invoice was omitted to be filed in GSTR 1 of August, but it is filed subsequently, this invoice is included in the GSTR 1 of September. What is the due date for filing GSTR 1 of September? It is 11th of October. Now we are seeing a scenario where a particular invoice which is pertaining to August, which was omitted to be included in GSTR 1 of August, now it is included in GSTR 1 of September. Case A, GSTR 1 of September is filed on 10th of October. Still, it would appear in GSTR 2A of September. GSTR 1 of September is filed on 30th of October. It would appear in GSTR 2A of September. Whether GSTR 1 is filed before due date or after due date, it doesn't matter as long as GSTR 2A is concerned. For GSTR 2A, all that you need to check is in which month GSTR 1 is it included. You need not check the due date. You need not check the date of filing. All that you need to check is in which month GSTR 1 is this particular document included. If it is included in August, whether filed within due date or after due date, it will appear in 2A of August. If it is included in the GSTR 1 of September, whether that September month GSTR 1 is filed within due date or after due date, it will appear in 2A of September. This is as regards as 2A is concerned. But friends, the story is not the same with GSTR 2B. With GSTR 2B, friends, what was the reason behind introducing GSTR 2B? Please recollect, 36 sub rule 4 stated that you will be in a position to avail input tax credit only if the suppliers include these invoices in their GSTR 1 by due date. Now friends, if you look into GSTR 2A, you do not get the data. You will get the list of all the invoices which are included in a particular GSTR 1 tax period, but you will not get to bifurcate out of all the invoices which are appearing in GSTR 2A, which of them were filed prior to due date, which of them are filed after due date, is not going to be visible to you. You are not in a position to bifurcate. When you are not in a position to bifurcate that of all the invoices which are appearing in 2A who are filed within the due date, you cannot comply with 36 sub rule 4, because 36 sub rule 4 tells you, it tells you 105% of invoices which are uploaded by the suppliers within the due date. So friends, what was the formula of 36 sub rule 4? It is 105%. It is 105% of the vendors who are uploading their invoices before the due date, subject to a maximum of eligible book credit. So now friends, since keeping GSTR 2A, you are not in a position to bifurcate, the government gives a new report in the form of GSTR 2B. GSTR 2B would give you a report of only those particular invoices, the details of which have been furnished by the due date. So there is a cutoff date. If GSTR 1 is filed by this cutoff date, it would appear in this particular tax period's GSTR 2B. If it is filed beyond that date, it would appear in the subsequent tax period's GSTR 2B. It would not appear in this particular tax period's GSTR 2B. What is the impact? Friends, the impact is 36 sub rule 4 tells you 105% of eligible GSTR 2B credits, subject to a maximum of eligible book credits. So now friends, if I am filing my return for the tax period August, I need to compute my input tax credit for the tax period August. Now friends, I will be in a position to take credit of only those invoices or debit notes which are appearing in GSTR 2B of August. And what will appear in GSTR 2B of August? Only those which have been filed before the due date. If it is filed after the due date, it would go into the subsequent month's tax period. It would go in the subsequent month's GSTR 2B. It will not remain in August month's 2B. I will not be in a position to take credit, because the credit which I am entitled to take is 105% of eligible 2B credits for the particular month. If my suppliers have not filed their GSTR 1 within time limit which is given for August month, it will not appear in 2B of August. It will appear in the subsequent tax period. I will not be in a position to take the entire credit in this particular month, to which although the invoice could be dated August, but it is not appearing in 2B of August because my supplier, my vendor, has not filed its GSTR 1 by the due date. So friends, I am sure you are able to appreciate and differentiate between GSTR 2A and GSTR 2B. The objective of GSTR 2B is to assist the taxpayer in complying with 36 sub rule 4. So friends, let's take an example. Supplies which are made during Jan. Supplies which are made during Jan is filed in the GSTR 1 of Jan. Supplies made during Jan is filed in GSTR 1 of Jan itself. Question number 1. In which month GSTR 2A it would appear? Friends, as regards as 2A is concerned, it is always very simple. When supplies which are made during Jan are included in GSTR 1 of Jan, it will always appear in GSTR 2A of Jan only. It will always appear in GSTR 2A of Jan only. Whether this GSTR 1 of Jan is filed in February, is filed in March, is filed in April, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Once it has been included in GSTR 1 of January, it would appear in GSTR 2A of January, irrespective of the date of filing the GSTR 1. Now friends, 2B has a different story. In 2B there is a cutoff date. If you file before the cutoff date, which is nothing but the due date, it would appear in 2B of that particular month. Otherwise, it would appear in 2B of the subsequent month. Now friends, let's say this particular invoice is included in GSTR 1. I repeat, this particular invoice is included in GSTR 1 of January, but this GSTR 1 is filed by 11th of February. this GSTR1 is filed by 11th of February. Case A, supply made during Jan, included in GSTR1 of Jan, but this GSTR1 of Jan is filed on 11th of February. What is the due date for filing GSTR1 for January? It is 11th of the subsequent month. So now it is 11th of February. Is it filed by due date? The answer is yes. So it should appear in GSTR2B of January. It should appear in GSTR2B of January. If it is filed after 11th of February, if it is filed after 11th of February, what is meant by filing after 11th of February? Which means on or after 12th of February. If it is filed by 11th of February, it will appear in Jan months 2B. If it is filed on or after 11th of February, which means that, it is filed on or after 12th of February. If it is not by 11th of February, after 11th of February means what? Either on 12th of February or after 12th of February. So if it is filed on or after 12th of February, if it is filed on or after 12th of February, it would appear in February month's GSTR2B. It would not appear in January month's GSTR2B. Now the next question comes, if I am filing on or after 12th of February, it would appear in GSTR2B of February. But on or after 12th of February, till when? The starting point is 12th of February. Does it mean even if I file it in December, it would appear in GSTR2B of February only? The answer is no. You need to have another cutoff date. If it is filed on or after 12th of February, agreed, it will not come in January. It should come in February, but should there also be an end date for it to come in 2B of February? After that end date, if you are going to file, it should go into GSTR2B of March. Another cutoff date you further file, it should go into GSTR2B of April. Yes. So now, if it is filed on or after 12th of February, till which time? Friends, what is the due date of filing February month's GSTR1? The due date of filing February month's GSTR1 happens to be 11th of March. Happens to be 11th of March. So friends, if it is filed on or after 12th of February till 11th of March, it will appear in GSTR2B of February. The next thought, what if it is filed on or after 12th of March? Because by 11th of March, the cutoff date of February is over. What if it is filed on or after 12th of March? It will not appear in February month's GSTR2B, it is agreed. It will appear in March month's GSTR2B. But what should be the cutoff date for it to appear in March month's GSTR2B? What is the due date for March month's GSTR1? 11th of April. So friends, if it is filed on or after 12th of March till 11th of April, it would appear in GSTR2B of March. So friends, I am sure you are able to follow this. We have already seen this, we are just revising it. So friends, if it is filed between this particular window, it appears in February. If it is filed between this particular window, it appears in March. Now friends, can you please tell me, for the month of January, we have written the ending point. We have written the ending point for the month of January. That means if it is filed by 11th of February, it would appear in Jan month's GSTR2B. But what should be the starting point? What should be the starting point? Friends, what is the month preceding to Jan month? The month preceding to January month is December. For December, what is the due date? 11th of January. For December, the due date is 11th of January. So if it was filed by 11th of January, it would have gone into December month's GSTR2B. When would it come to January month's GSTR2B? When it is filed on or after 12th of January. If it is filed on or after 12th of January, it would come into January month's GSTR2B. So friends, the starting point would be 12th of January. So friends, for Jan month, it is 12th Jan to 11th Feb. For February month, it is 12th Feb to 11th March. For March month, it is 12th March to 11th April. So friends, if the uploading of this particular invoice is happening between these dates, then it would appear in this corresponding GSTR 2B. What difference does it make? Friends, it makes a lot of difference. If it is appearing in GSTR 2B of January, I can take the credit in January month. If it is appearing in GSTR 2B of February, I'll be in a position to take the credit only in February month. If it is appearing in GSTR 2B of March, I would be in a position to take the credit only in March month. So therefore, always the availment of credit is going to be based on GSTR 2B according to 36 sub rule 4. Now friends, this example what we had seen, it was with an assumption that my supplier is a monthly filer. My supplier files GSTR 1 on a monthly basis. But is it necessary that all the suppliers should file their GSTR 1 on a monthly basis? The answer is no. Few of the suppliers will also be filing their GSTR 1 on a quarterly basis. So friends, you have QRMP scheme fellows. Those QRMP scheme fellows, for the first and the second month, they would be filing invoice furnishing facility, and then they would be filing GSTR 1 for the entire quarter. For the entire quarter, they would be filing GSTR 1. Now friends, let's have a look how GSTR 2B report would be there if my supplier happens to be a QRMP fellow. Supplies are made during January. Supplies are made during January. Now friends, for the month of January, IFF needs to be furnished by 13th of February. I am sure by now you know all the due dates. For the month of January, IFF needs to be furnished by 13th of February. So if it is furnished, this particular invoice is included in it by 13th of February, it would appear in January month's GSTR 2B. However, if it is after 13th of February, which means if it is furnished on or after 14th of February, if the details are given on or after 14th of February, it would not appear in January month's GSTR 2B. It would be appearing in February month's GSTR 2B. But what should be the cutoff date for February month's GSTR 2B? For February, what is the due date? 13th of March. Therefore, here we have 14th of February till 13th of March. This is going to be the window. The details which are given between this window will appear in GSTR 2B of February. Similarly, friends, if the details are furnished after 13th of March, which means from 14th of March onwards, it would appear in March month's GSTR 2B. But what is the cutoff for the March month's GSTR 2B? The due date for March, there is no separate IFF which needs to be filed for the month of March. There is going to be a GSTR 1 which needs to be filed for the entire quarter, including that of March. So now the due date happens to be 13th of April. So friends, for the month of March, from 14th March till 13th April, the details which are uploaded in this window would appear in GSTR 2B of March. Now friends, if you have analyzed this, can you just fill in the blanks over here? For January, what should be the starting time? Friends, what is the preceding month? It is December. For December, what was the due date? 13th of January. So for December, had it been given by 13th of January, it would have appeared in December. We do not want it to appear in December. We are finding it out. What is the starting point for January? So obviously it is going to be from 14th of January. So here we go. From 14th of January till 13th of February is for Jan month. This window is for February. This window is for March. So friends, we are clear as to when, if the details gets uploaded, it would appear in which GSTR 2B, and accordingly when can input tax credit be taken. Let's have few examples. But before we get into the examples, let's have a look theoretically what is the difference between 2A and 2B. All of us know, we are just having a reading. GSTR 2A is dynamic. Details uploaded by a vendor for a particular month are updated up to such a month without utilizing a cutoff date. GSTR 2B is static. Details uploaded by vendors after the cutoff date are considered in the subsequent period. What is the utility? One cannot comply with 36 sub rule 4 by following GSTR 2A. However, one can comply with 36 sub rule 4 by following GSTR 2B. One will also get to know who are the compliant and non-compliant vendors, which means that if you are making an inward supply in a particular tax period, and if it is reflecting in the GSTR 2B of the same tax period, it means that your vendor is a compliant assessee. He is filing his returns within the due dates. Let's take few examples, friends. The date of invoice is 15th of August. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is filed in GSTR 1 of August. So friends, it is filed in, okay, I'll repeat the question. Invoice dated 15th of August, filed in GSTR 1 of August. The date of filing is 11th of September. There are three questions. Question number 1, it would appear in which month's GSTR 2A? Question number 2, it would appear in which month's GSTR 2B? Question number 3, in which month can input tax credit be taken? Now friends, question number 1 and question number 3 are very simple. Question number 1 was, it would appear in which month's GSTR 2A? Friends, in whichever month's GSTR 1 he has included this particular invoice, it would appear in that particular month's GSTR 2A. This person has filed it in GSTR 1 of August. It would appear in GSTR 2A of August. Question number 3, when can the credit be taken? Now friends, in which month's GSTR 2B it is going to appear? In that particular month's return, he would be in a position to take the credit. In this case, it is appearing in GSTR 2B of August. He can take the credit in August month's return. So 1 and 3 is simple. The second question is, in which month's GSTR 2B it is going to appear? In which month's GSTR 2B it is going to appear? So now friends, let's have a look. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is filed in GSTR 1 of August. What is the due date of August month? The due date of August month happens to be 11th of September. Is it filed by the due date? Yes. So it will appear in GSTR 2B of August. It will appear in GSTR 2B of August. Accordingly, credit can be taken in August month's return. Are we clear? Fine. Example number 2. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is filed in GSTR 1 of August, but the date of filing is 15th of September. The date of filing is 15th of September. Question number 1. In which month GSTR 2A would it appear? He has included it in GSTR 1 of August. It would appear in 2A of August. Question number 2. In which month GSTR 2B it would appear? Now friends, for it to appear in August month GSTR 2B, for it to appear in August month GSTR 2B, this details should have been included or should have been filed by 11th of September. Is it filed by 11th of September? The answer is no. It is filed on 15th of September. So therefore, for sure it is not going to appear in GSTR 2B of August. Fine. It will go to September month GSTR 2B. What is the window for September month GSTR 2B? The window for September month GSTR 2B. What was preceding to it? August. What was the due date of August? 11th of September. So for September, the date would start by 12th of September. For September, what is the due date? It is 11th of October. So the window for September is going to be 12th September to 11th October. Is it filed in the window of 12th September to 11th October? The answer is yes. So therefore, it would appear in 2B of September. Accordingly, credit could be taken in the return for the month of September. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is filed in GSTR 1 of August, but the date of filing is 1st of December. The date of filing is 1st of December. Question number 1. In which month GSTR 2A it is going to appear? It is going to appear in August month 2A. Friends, if you would have noticed the pattern, invoice dated all the three examples 15th of August. This invoice is included in GSTR 1 of August in all the three cases. Case 1 it was filed on 11th of September. Case 2 filed on 15th of September. Case 3 GSTR 1 was filed on 1st of December. Irrespective of these dates, it always appears in GSTR 2A of August only. Because as regards as 2A is concerned, all that you need to see is in which month this invoice is being included. Ignore the date of filing. If it is included in the GSTR 1 of August, it would appear in 2A of August. Now, the date of filing is 1st of December. He has filed in GSTR 1 of August, but this 1 of August is filed on 1st of December. Now, when it is filed in 1st of December, in which month GSTR 2B it is going to appear? Now friends, first let's go step by step, then we'll discuss on how to find it out quickly. Now friends, for it to appear in 2B of August, it should have been filed by 11th of September. Is it done? No. For it to appear in 2B of September, this should have been filed by 11th of October. Is it done? No. For it to appear in 2B of October, it should have been filed by 11th of November. Is it done? No. For it to appear in 2B of November, it should have been filed by 11th of December. Is this done? Yes. So therefore, it would appear in 2B of November. Now friends, if you want to cross confirm for November, what is the window? For November, what is going to be the end point? Obviously 11th of December, because that is the due date for November month. What is the month preceding to November month? It is October. Now for October, what was the last date? 11th of November. So what is going to be the starting date for November? Obviously 12th of November. So the window for November is 12th of November to 11th of December. Is it filed in this window? Yes. 1st of December would fit into this window. So therefore, it would appear in 2B of November. Accordingly, credit can be taken in the return for the month of November. Next case, invoice dated 15th of August. But now, this is filed in GSTR 1 of September. This invoice was omitted in GSTR 1 of August. It is now being included in GSTR 1 of September. Date of filing is 11th of October. So friends, in which month GSTR 2A it is going to appear? He has included it in GSTR 1 of September. It would be in 2A of September. It is as simple as that. Now friends, in which month GSTR 2B it is going to come? He has filed it in which one? September month. He has filed it in September month GSTR 1. He has filed it in September month GSTR 1. So we have to check, will it appear in 2B of September? For it to appear in 2B of September, it should have been filed by 11th of October. September month's return should have been filed by 11th of October. Is it filed by 11th of October? Yes. So it will appear in 2B of September. Credit September month's return. Invoice dated 15th of August, omitted to be filed in August month's GSTR 1. It is included in GSTR 1 of September, which is filed on 15th of October. It is filed in GSTR 1 of September, which is filed on 15th of October. First question, very simple. It was filed in GSTR 1 of September. It will appear in 2A of September. Now we have to check whether it will appear in 2B of September also. Friends, to appear in 2B of September, September month's return should have been filed by 11th of October. Is it done? No. Agreed. It will not appear in 2B of September. The next month is October. For it to appear in 2B of October, it should be filed by 11th of November. Is it done? Yes. It is filed on 15th of October. So therefore, it would appear in October month GSTR 2B, credit also in October month. If you want to recheck friends, for October, what is the window? What is the last date for October? 11th of November. What is the month prior to October? September. For September, what was the last date? 11th of October. So what is the next date? 12th of October. So 12th of October to 11th of November is the window for October. So friends, it is filed in this window. Yes. Next case, invoice dated 15th August, filed in GSTR 1 of September, but this is filed on 15th of December. GSTR 1 of September is filed on 15th of December. In which month GSTR 2A it is going to appear? Friends, if you see all these cases, invoice dated 15th of August, it is filed in GSTR 1 of September. irrespective of whenever it is filed, whether filed on 11th October, 15th October, 15th December, never mind. It is filed in GSTR 1 of September, it will appear in 2A of September. As simple as that. As regards as 2B is concerned. Now friends, for 2B, we know it is going to appear in GSTR 2A of September. Let us check whether it will appear in 2B of September. For it to appear in GSTR 2B of September, filing should have happened by 11th of October. Has it happened? No. Next month. For it to appear in October month GSTR 2B, filing should have happened by 11th of November. Has it happened? No. For it to appear in GSTR 2B of November, filing should have happened by 11th of December. Has it happened? No. Next month. For it to appear in GSTR 2B of December, filing should have happened by 11th of January. Has it happened? Yes. So it would appear in GSTR 2B of December. Want to cross check? For December, what is the window? For the tax period December, the window is, what is the last date to file the data for December? It is 11th of January. What is prior to December? November. What is the last date for November? 11th of December. So what is going to be the starting point for December? After 11th of December comes 12th of December. So friends, for December, the range is 12th of December till 11th of January. Yes, this is filed in that range. So therefore, it would appear in GSTR 2B of December. Accordingly, credit can be taken in the return for the month of December. So friends, by this example, I am sure you are now able to visualize in which month GSTR 2A and in which month GSTR 2B a particular invoice is going to go. Let's take another example. Friends, in the preceding example, we had seen that the suppliers were filing GSTR 1 on a monthly basis, and accordingly we are seeing that at the recipient's end, in which month GSTR 2A or 2B the details are going to reflect. Now friends, let's take a case where the suppliers are filing GSTR 1 on a quarterly basis. They file GSTR 1 on a quarterly basis, and for the first and second month of the quarter, they include the details of their invoices in invoice furnishing facility. So friends, when the supplier is operating under the QRMP scheme, at the recipient's end, in which month GSTR 2A or 2B the details are going to reflect, let's have a look by the example. Now friends, Q means the supplier has opted for quarterly returns. So invoice date 15th of August. This particular invoice is included in invoice furnishing facility of the August month. He has filed it by 13th of September. Friends, the same three questions. In which month GSTR 2A is this going to reflect? In which month GSTR 2B it is going to reflect? And input tax credit can be taken in which month's return? So friends, as regards as 2A is concerned, it is very simple. He has included it in IFF of August, so therefore it would appear in GSTR 2A of August. Now friends, it appears in GSTR 2A of August. Let us also see, will it appear in GSTR 2B of August? Friends, to appear in GSTR 2B of August, the details should have been filed by 13th of September. Is it done so? The answer is yes. So it will appear in GSTR 2B of August. Credit can be taken in the return for the month of August. Next one. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is included in GSTR 1 of the quarter. It is not filed in IFF of August. It is included in GSTR 1 of the quarter, July, August and September. So this GSTR 1 is filed on 13th of October. It is filed on 13th of October. So friends, since it is filed in GSTR 1 of the quarter, it would reflect in GSTR 2A of September. It would reflect in GSTR 2A of September. So friends, as regards as the quarterly filers are concerned, for the quarter, the invoices which they have raised, if they are going to file it, in GSTR 1 of the quarter, then it would appear in GSTR 2A of the last month of the quarter. So in this case, friends, they are going to include it in GSTR 1 of the quarter. The quarter is July, August, September. So therefore, it would appear in GSTR 2A of September. Now friends, it appears in 2A of September. Will it also appear in 2B of September? Let's have a look. If it should appear in 2B of September, details should have been filed by 13th of October. Is it done so? The answer is yes, it is done so. So now friends, since it is filed by 13th of October, it would appear in 2B of September. Since it appears in 2B of September, credit can be taken in the return for the month of September. Next one. The supplier is a monthly filer. The supplier is a monthly filer. Invoice dated 15th of August. It is included in GSTR 1 of September. It is included in GSTR 1 of September. The date of filing is 13th of October. Now friends, since it is included in GSTR 1 of September, it would appear in GSTR 2A of September. Now friends, it is going to appear in 2 of September. Let's have a look whether it will appear in 2B of September. Friends, for it to appear in 2B of September, the details should have been filed by 11th of October and not 13th of October. The reason why I am saying 11th of October, because now the supplier is a monthly filer. For him the due date is 11th and it is not 13th. So friends, has he filed by 11th of October? The answer is no. Since he has not filed by 11th of October, it is not going to appear in GSTR 2B of September. Now, let's have a look whether it will appear in 2B of October. To appear in 2B of October, the filing should have been happened by 11th of November. Has it happened by 11th of November? The answer is yes, it has happened on 13th of October. So therefore, it would appear in 2B of October. You want to recheck? For October, what is the window? For October, what is the last date? This fellow is a monthly fellow, so it is 11th of November. Preceding to October, what was the month? September. For September, what was the last date? 11th of October. So the starting point for October is going to be 12th of October till 11th of November. Yes, it is filed in this window. Therefore, it would appear in 2B of October. Credit in the return for the tax period October. Supplier is a QRMP fellow. Supplier is a QRMP fellow. Invoice dated 15th of August. He has included it in GSTR 1 of the quarter July, August, September. He has included it in GSTR 1 of the quarter July, August and September. It is filed on 15th of October. Now friends, as we all understand, if it was included in the GSTR 1 for the quarter July, August, September, it would appear in GSTR 2A of September. It would appear in GSTR 2A of September. Yes, it appears in GSTR 2A of September. Now friends, let's check in which month GSTR 2B it is going to appear. To appear in 2B of September, filing should have happened by 13th of October, because now this fellow is a quarterly fellow. So the cutoff date is going to be 13th. Filing should have happened by 13th of October. Is it happened? The answer is no. So it will not appear in 2B of September. The next month. To appear in 2B of October, the filing should have happened by 13th of November. Is it happened? The answer is yes. So therefore, it is going to appear in 2B of October. You want to cross check it? For October, what is the cutoff date? It is 13th. Since this fellow is a quarterly fellow, 13th of November. And what is the starting date? Preceding month was September. For September, it was 13th of October. So for October, it is going to start from 14th of October. So from 14th October till 13th November, yes, this is fitting into this window. So therefore, 2B of October, ITC in the return for the month of October. Quarterly fellow, invoice dated 15th July. invoice dated 15th July. It was furnished in the IFF of July. It was furnished in the IFF of July. The date of filing 13th August. Now friends, since it was furnished in IFF of July, it will appear in 2A of July. Will it also appear in 2B of July? To appear in 2B of July, it should have been filed by 13th of August. Is it done so? The answer is yes. So it will be 2B of July, ITC for the tax period July. Invoice dated 15th July, but it is furnished in IFF of August. It is furnished in IFF of August. Date of filing 13th of September. Since it was furnished in IFF of August, it will appear in 2A of August. Let us check. Will it also appear in 2B of August? For it to appear in 2B of August, it should have been filed by 13th of September. Is it done so? Yes. So it will appear in 2B of August. You want to check it? For August, the cutoff date is 13th of September. The starting date preceding to August, it was July. For July, it is 13th August. So starting date for August is going to be 14th of August. 14th of August till 13th of September. Yes, it is into this window. So therefore, input tax credit for the return of the month of August. Invoice dated 15th of July. It is included in GSTR 1 of the quarter July, August, September. So friends, since it is included in GSTR 1 of July, August, September, it will appear in 2A of September. Will it also appear in 2B of September? Will it also appear in 2B of September? For it to appear in 2B of September, it should have been filed by 13th of October. Is it filed? The answer is yes. So it will appear in 2B of September. Credit also in the return for the month of September. So friends, this is the pattern which you need to remember, and if you would have observed by now, you would have got this point. GSTR 2B, GSTR 2B, appearance of a particular invoice in GSTR 2B, either it would be of the same month of GSTR 2A or any succeeding month. It will never be a case that you get the data in 2B first and then you get it in 2A. It is not going to be like this. Either it will come in the 2B of the same month in which 2A it has appeared, or it will come in a later month. Say for example, the first case 2A of August, 2B also of August. Second one September, September. Third one September and October. Fourth one September and October. Fifth one July and July. Sixth one August and August. Seventh one September and September. It is never a case that 2A is of an August and in 2B it is of some preceding month. Naturally no, because friends, please understand, after the cutoff date in 2B it is only getting postponed, it is not going to get preponed. So friends, by now I am sure we are very much clear in which months 2A a particular invoice is going to go, in which months 2B a particular invoice is going to go. For the purpose of computation of 36 sub rule 4, GSTR 2B is relevant. So now friends, whatever we have discussed so far, we are just going to see it in the wordings. GSTR 2B for every month shall consist of. We have discussed the entire rule 60. Let's have a look. GSTR 2B for every month shall consist of details filed in monthly GSTR 1 between. So if suppose I am the recipient, in my 2B, what would appear? I could have my suppliers who are filing monthly GSTR 1. I could have my suppliers who are filing quarterly GSTR 1. If my suppliers are filing monthly GSTR 1, then for any particular month, GSTR 2B shall consist of the day immediately after the due date of filing GSTR 1 of the previous month till the due date of furnishing GSTR 1 for the month. Say for example, GSTR 2B of September would consist of, for September, what is the cutoff date? If my supplier is a monthly fellow, in that cases my cutoff date is going to be 11th of October. 11th of October. And friends, what was the month preceding to September? It was August. So for August it was 11th of September. Add one date, that will become the starting point for the next cycle. So it is going to be 12th of September till 11th of October is going to be the cycle. This we have already discussed. We are only now seeing how the rule is framed. The next one, the details which is filed in GSTR1 quarterly. If my supplier is filing quarterly GSTR1, then what would the cycle look like? For the first month of the quarter, the day immediately after the due date of filing GSTR1 of the preceding quarter till the due date of filing IFF for the first month of the quarter. Say for example, GSTR2B for October to December. Now for the month of October, if my vendor is a quarterly fellow, my vendor is a quarterly fellow. For October, the due date is 13th of November. 13th of November is the cutoff date. What is going to be the starting date? Obviously 14th of October, because for September it was 13th October. Add one more day, it will become 14th of October. So here we go 14th of October till 13th of November. Similarly, for the second month of the quarter, the day immediately after the due date of filing IFF for the first month of the quarter till the due date of filing IFF for the second month of the quarter. Say for example November. For November, what is the cutoff date? 13th of December. What is the starting point? For October, it was 13th November. Add one more day, it would start from 14th November. So it is going to be from 14th November till 13th December. For third month of the quarter, the day immediately after the due date of filing IFF for the second month of the quarter till the due date of filing GSTR1 for the quarter. So now friends, for December, the due date happens to be 13th of January, that is the cutoff date. The starting date for November, it was 13th December. Another date becomes 14th December. So 14th December to 13th January. This becomes the cycle. This becomes the cycle. The details which is furnished during this period would appear in GSTR2B of December. So friends, I'm sure by now you're able to understand how is 2A and 2B being placed. We have also seen it in rule number 60, how it is being worded. So now friends, for a person who is there under the QRMP scheme, by now we close the discussion of when a particular data would appear in 2A and when a particular data would appear in 2B. Now we are talking from the recipient's point of view. Now we are speaking from the recipient's point of view. Say I am a registered person who is operating under the QRMP scheme. What relevance has GSTR2B, my GSTR2B report which is there, what relevance does it have? Now friends, please concentrate. I am operating under QRMP scheme. What relevance does GSTR2B have for me? It has got a lot of relevance. Friends, for the first and second month of the quarter, I repeat, for the first and second month of the quarter, if I am there under self-assessment method, in the first and the second month of the quarter, then in those cases I'll have to say output tax minus input tax credit. Input tax credit according to what? According to GSTR2B of that particular month. Let's suppose for the quarter April, May and June, for the month of April, I'll have to pay taxes. If I'm paying taxes under self-assessment method, I'll say output tax minus input tax credit according to what? According to 2B of April. For May month, according to 2B of May. However, if I am there under the fixed sum method, 2B is not relevant for me for the first and the second month. 2B is not relevant for me for the first and second month because I am going to pay taxes based on the amount which is paid by debiting my electronic cash ledger in the preceding tax periods. 2B is not relevant for the first and the second month of the quarter when I am going under the fixed sum method. However, even under the fixed sum method, for the third month, it is always self-assessment basis. So therefore, I would require GSTR2B data. When I am going to file the return for the entire quarter, because what I have paid in the first and second month is only a fixed sum method which was there only to ease the compliance burden, but the actual calculations I will have to do at the end of the quarter. I'll have to compute what is my total output tax. I will have to compute what is my total input tax credit according to 36 sub rule 4. According to 36 sub rule 4, I will have to compute my input tax credit. And how am I going to calculate 36 sub rule 4, it is going to be based on GSTR 2B. So for the entire quarter, my output tax, for the entire quarter, my input tax credit according to GSTR 2B. Then I would say what is the total liability which I am supposed to discharge by cash minus the liability already discharged, already deposited in the first and second month using fixed sum method, the difference amount I am supposed to pay. So friends, the point which we are trying to discuss is, for a QRMP fellow, how is GSTR 2B useful? For a QRMP fellow, if he is operating under self-assessment method, GSTR 2B is useful for first month, second month and third month. For a QRMP fellow who is operating under the fixed sum method, for the first month to deposit the cash, 2B is not required. For the second month to deposit the cash, 2B is not required. But however, while filing the return for the entire quarter, when he has to compute what is his actual liability, output tax minus input tax credit according to 36 sub rule 4, he requires GSTR 2B of all the 3 months, the first month, the second month and the third month, because he has to compute the input tax credit of the entire quarter. What he has deposited initially in the cash ledger was only to ease the compliance. That is only a tentative calculation. While doing the final calculations, he would require GSTR 2B of all the 3 months. So I am sure you are able to follow this. As regards his regular scheme is concerned, yes, he does require GSTR 2B for all the months of the quarter. For all the months, he does require GSTR 2B to carry out the compliance under 36 sub rule 4. Now friends, what are the returns which are being filed? GSTR 1 has to be filed, GSTR 4, GSTR 5, GSTR 5A, 6, 7, 8. Now friends, why are we discussing this is because you have GSTR 1 which needs to be filed, you have 3B which needs to be filed. 3B is a summary return, you do not give any details of invoices. You have GSTR 4, 5, 5A, 6, 7, 8 and you have an additional information called as import of goods or purchasing goods from special economic zone based on bill of entry. Now friends, please tell me, when the details of outward supplies, this is something new which we are learning now. When the details of outward supplies, we already know this. Who files GSTR 1? A regular person. Who files GSTR 4? Composition taxable person. Who files GSTR 5? Non-resident taxable person. 5A, OIDR fellow who is supplying to non-taxable online recipient. 6. Input service distributor. 7. TDS return. 8. TCS return. When goods are imported or purchased from special economic zone based on bill of entry, IGST needs to be paid. Are we sure about that? Yes. Now friends, please tell me, when GSTR 1 is being filed by some supplier at some end, it would get reflected in GSTR 2A? Yes. When GSTR 4 is being filed, will it also be reflected in GSTR 2A? We are just talking about, we are just visualizing at one end when some return is being filed, will it also get auto-populated at the other end at the recipient's GSTR 2A? Let's suppose in this cases, let's say I am the recipient. Let's say I am the recipient. You have filed your GSTR 1. Will it reflect in my 2A? Yes. Let's suppose I am the recipient. You are my supplier. You are a composition taxable person. You are a composition taxable person. You are going to file GSTR 4. Is it going to reflect in my 2A? The answer is no. It doesn't make any sense because I cannot, first of all, I cannot take credit for the purchases which I have made from a composition taxable person. Second one, when you are filing GSTR 4, you do not give any invoice level details. So when you do not give any invoice level details, obviously, how can it get reflected in my GSTR 2A? All that you are going to give is only the total turnover. You do not give to which recipient or to which customer you have made this turnover to. You just say this is my total turnover. So from GSTR 4, reflection in 2A doesn't happen and it is not required also. GSTR 5. I am the recipient, you are a non-resident taxable person. I purchase goods from you. Am I entitled to credit? Friends, you as an NRTP, you are not entitled to credit excepting IGST paid on import of goods. Am I entitled to credit when I purchase it from you? Yes, there is no restriction. If I am satisfying all the other conditions, there is no restriction on me to claim credit when I have purchased the goods from a non-resident taxable person. So friends, you are an NRTP, you file GSTR 5, you will have to give invoice wise details and it would reflect in my GSTR 2A. Yes. GSTR 5A, who files GSTR 5A? OIDR fellow who is sitting in non-taxable territory and making supplies to whom? Basically an unregistered person. When the supplies are made to an unregistered person, only then GSTR 5A is being filed. See friends, if an OIDR who is sitting in non-taxable territory, if he would make a supply to a registered person would pay GST under reverse charge mechanism. It would not even, the OIDR fellow is not even liable to pay taxes on it. When is he liable to pay taxes on it? When that person is making a supply to a basically unregistered person. So in this case, for him it is always a B2C supply. So whatever the turnover which is getting declared in GSTR 5A will always be B2C supply. So invoice level details are not given. So when invoice level details are not given, at the other end, automatically it is not going to auto-populate. And it is not required also because at the other end, that fellow is an unregistered person. He cannot even take credit. What is the use in getting the data auto-populated? So friends, GSTR 5A, will it get reflected in 2A? The answer is no. GSTR 6. Let's suppose you are an input service distributor and I am the recipient of credit. You have given me an ISD invoice. Can it take credit? Yes. So should there be an auto population in my GSTR 2A? You will have to give invoice wise details. Yes. My auto population in my 2A. Yes. Friends, the equation is very simple. Wherever at the opposite end the supplier is giving invoice level details, at the recipient's end auto population will happen. It's so simple. GSTR 1, invoice level details given, yes, auto population happens. 3B, no invoice level details, we have not even mentioned over here. 4, no invoice level details, it's no. 5, invoice level details needs to be given, recipient can take credit, so yes. 5A, it is always a B2C supply which is forming a part of 5A, therefore no. 6, yes, invoice level details are given, the recipients can take credit, auto population would happen in 2A. 7. Now friends, in 7, assuming you are deducting TDS for me. After you deducted TDS for me, can you keep it with yourself? The answer is no. You cannot keep it with yourself. You will have to deposit with the government, giving some details that who is the deductee. And when you are going to file GSTR 7, the amount which you have deducted for me and deposited with the government would come and reflect in my cash ledger. So therefore, it would come and reflect in my cash ledger, but I need a data. I need a data as to whether the deductors who have deducted money from me, have they deposited the money with the government and have they filed GSTR 7? How am I to ensure? There is going to be an auto population in GSTR 2A. In my GSTR 2A, I can see who are all the deductors who have deposited the amount to the government. So GSTR 7, yes, there is auto population. GSTR 8, similar manner, tax is collected, comes to my cash ledger. It would also appear in my GSTR 2A so that I get to know that whoever has deducted TCS, have they deposited it with the government. So yes. The next one is import of goods or purchase of goods from a special economic zone based on a bill of entry. Now friends, me as an importer, I import goods, I file a bill of entry, I pay customs duty, I pay IGST. Can it take credit? Yes. So now the data would be transmitted from the customs server. It would come to the GST server and it would get auto populated in my GSTR 2A. It would get auto populated in my GSTR 2A. So friends, Now we have discussed what are the various sources from where the data would come and get auto-populated in GSTR 2A. Data comes from GSTR 1, it comes from GSTR 5, it comes from GSTR 6, it comes from GSTR 7, it comes from GSTR 8, and if I have imported goods or if I have purchased goods from special economic zone based on a bill of entry, it would that also would come in GSTR 2A. So friends, these are all the sources from where the data would appear in GSTR 2A. Now friends, appearance in GSTR 2B. Appearance in GSTR 2B. Of course, the difference between 2A and 2B is going to be cutoff date. But what is the source from where the data is going to appear in GSTR 2B? Same thing friends. GSTR 1 yes, GSTR 4 no, 5 yes, 4 no, 6 yes, 7. Let's keep the 7 pending. 7 and 8. And import of goods of special economic zone yes. Friends, the only difference between source of GSTR 2A and source of GSTR 2B is this GSTR 7 and GSTR 8. GSTR 7 and GSTR 8, let's suppose you are the tax deductor or you are the tax collector. You have deducted or collected tax, deposited it to the government, paid it to the government, filed GSTR 7 or filed GSTR 8. It would appear in my GSTR 2A, but it would not appear in my GSTR 2B. It would not appear in my GSTR 2B. For the reasons best known to the government, here reflection in GSTR 2B. From GSTR 7 and GSTR 8, it doesn't reflect in GSTR 2B. The rule is drafted in such a manner. For the reasons best known to the government, reflection doesn't happen in GSTR 2B. Now friends, having discussed this, we get to know the source of GSTR 2B is GSTR 1, GSTR 5, GSTR 6, import of goods and special economic zone. Now friends, please tell me, let's suppose a particular invoice, the source of which is GSTR 1, which means it is a supplier who is a regular taxable person who files GSTR 1. A particular invoice is not reflecting in GSTR 2B. The source is GSTR 1. Can I take input tax credit? Question number 1. Question number 2. A particular invoice is not reflecting in GSTR 2B. The source of which is GSTR 5, which means the supplier is a non-resident taxable person. Can I take input tax credit? Question number 3. A particular invoice is not reflecting in my GSTR 2B. The source of which is GSTR 6, which means this invoice I have received from an input service distributor. Can I take input tax credit? Next, a particular entry is not reflecting in my GSTR 2B, the source of which is importation of goods or purchase of goods from a special economic zone based on bill of entry where the data is transmitted from the customs server to the GST server. That transmission has not happened. Can I take input tax credit? To rephrase the question, whether input tax credit can be availed if an item is not appearing in 2B, the source of which is GSTR 1, the source of which is GSTR 5, the source of which is GSTR 6, and the source of which is importation or procurement from SEZ based on bill of entry. Let's have a look at 36 sub rule 4. 36 sub rule 4 tells me input tax credit to be availed by a registered person in respect of invoices or debit notes, the details of which have not been furnished by the suppliers under section 37 subsection 1 in GSTR 1 or using IS. So friends, this is crystal clear that the applicability of 36 sub rule 4, is only going to be on those invoices, those documents, the source of which is GSTR 1. I repeat, 36 sub rule 4. The applicability of 36 sub rule 4 will come into existence only for those documents the source of which is GSTR 1. For example, you are a supplier, I am a recipient, you are operating under you are a regular taxable person, you make supplies to me, you do not include this particular invoice in your GSTR 1, it doesn't come into 2B, but I have received the invoice from you, I have received the goods, I have made you the payment. Can I take input tax credit? The answer is no. Because 36 sub rule 4 restricts me from taking the credit. Question number 2. You are a non-resident taxable person. You have made supplies to me. I received the invoice from you. I received the goods from you. I made the payment to you. But you have not filed GSTR 5. You have not filed GSTR 5. And it is not appearing in my GSTR 2B. Can I take the input tax credit? Friends, 36 sub rule 4 is not restricting me, because the applicability of 36 sub rule 4 is only in those cases where the suppliers have not filed GSTR 1 or IFF. It is not talking about GSTR 5. So friends, 36 sub rule 4 would not apply in those items the source of which is GSTR 5. Similarly, let's suppose you are an input service distributor, I am the recipient unit, I received the invoice from you, I received an ISD document. You did not file GSTR 6, not appearing in my GSTR 2B. Can I still take the input tax credit? Friends, 36 sub rule 4 is not applicable on those items the source of which is GSTR 6. Similarly, for import of goods and purchase of goods from a special economic zone based on bill of entry, let's say I import the goods, I pay customs duty, I pay IGST. There's some error in transmission. The data is not transmitted from the customs server to the GST server, not appearing in my GSTR 2B. Can I still take the credit? The answer is yes. 36 sub rule 4 is not applicable on those items the source of which is the customs server. So friends, in short, to the question which was raised, whether 36 sub rule 4 is applicable on those entries which are not appearing in GSTR 2B, the source of which is GSTR 1, the answer is yes. 5, no. 6, no. Customs server, no. So for these things, even though it is not appearing in 2B, still I am in a position to take the credit, because 36 sub rule 4 is not applicable on these entries, the source of which is GSTR 5, GSTR 6 and importation of goods. Friends, what about 7 and 8? Friends, 7 and 8, it is not my input tax credit. First of all, you as a tax deductor, tax collector deducted the amount, paid it to the government, it is going to appear in my cash ledger. I am not going to take a credit of that. It is going to come and sit in as a cash balance in my electronic cash ledger. I am sure you are able to follow this. Let's formally read rule 60 now to close the discussion on GSTR 2A and GSTR 2B. So here we go. GSTR 2A of every month shall consist of details filed in 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is what we had seen. Details filed in 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. For that particular month, and goods imported or purchases from SEZ based on bill of entry. Goods imported and purchased from SEZ based on bill of entry. This is going to be the source for reflection in GSTR 2A. GSTR 2B for every month shall consist of details filed in monthly GSTR 1, details filed in 5, 6, IFF and quarterly GSTR 1, IGST paid on import of goods and purchase of from SEZ based on bill of entry. So here have the source as monthly GSTR 1. Here we go. We have seen monthly GSTR 1. 5, 6, IFF and quarterly GSTR 1. So this GSTR 1 is monthly as well as quarterly. Then you have 5 and then you have 6. TDS TCS is missing over here. So we have mentioned no over here. And then you have importation of goods or purchase from special economic zone. So friends, if you remember this slide, it is much more than sufficient. What is the source of reflection in 2A and the source of reflection in GSTR 2B? By this, we conclude the discussion on rule number 60, GSTR 2A and GSTR 2B.
Subscribe to LearnCap and hit the bell icon to get notified.